Hello and welcome to Stand Up for Change. My name is Chason Forehand, and I'm the founder of HR-4U Incorporated. We are a 501c3 charitable nonprofit in the United States, in New York, in the United States, and we are on a mission to remove the barriers that prevent people from finding living wage employment. And today, one of our fantastic partners is with us. Chanaye Jackson is in the house. Give it up, people.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So glad to be here.
She is incredible. I've had a lot of great conversations with her. She is the founder of Swan Creative Systems. And just recently, she released her podcast, Idea to Empire podcast, which we were talking about before the show started, and I have to tell you, just fantastic. But I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it yet. I want to dive into that. We're definitely going to talk about it. But first things first, if I were someone that was following you already on any of your social media channels, what is something that you might share that, whether it's personal or professional, that people may not know, even if they were following you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone probably is going to see my dog, Addie, one time or another. But more, probably the thing that most people don't know, unless you're like really my friend, so this is definitely a personal one, is I am a huge salsa dancer. I love to dance.
Wow.
But salsa is my favorite. I mean, merengue and cha-cha are all cool too, but salsa is where it's at.
That is outstanding. I like watching it, but I'm afraid that I would break my other knee now at this point in my life if I started to try to do some of it. But I love watching it.
Watching it is half the battle, right? Being able to, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, you know what? That I can do. And I am very good at the chair dance thing, really good at the moves in the chair. It's fantastic. Oh my goodness. So that's awesome. I want to go from here to talk about your journey a little bit. Tell the audience, who is CJ and why is she doing what she does today? So we'll get into your business down the road, and then we're going to talk about that amazing podcast.
You're so kind, Jason. So how did I get here? I actually just told someone my origin story, like not even 30 minutes ago. But
wow.
What had happened was in 2019, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where I'm located now. And I moved here after leaving a corporate position that I absolutely loved, but to be honest, it was time to go. And it was time to go for a lot of reasons, but the main reason was being a Black female in that organization was really, really, really hard. So I used the excuse of, I need to go and take care of my businesses in another state to do that. And so I moved to Atlanta and I'm like, okay, I have 2 businesses to take care of. So that's what I do. Right. But I was like, well, don't I need to go back to corporate? And don't I need to, I'm supposed to be this productive member of society, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to apologize now. I do have dogs, so you will hear them bark.
I have met their tails. I've not seen them actually, but I have met tails.
Yeah. One of them hates thunder. She's decided that she sees it. I don't know what's happening. So I moved to Atlanta and I was like, I don't know what to do next. So I deep dived into, managing the businesses, making them grow, all of the things. I was excited about it. But then I had a comment from a person that I was in a mastermind with, and he was like, Chanaye, I would pay you for a course to tell me how you thought through that strategy and that thinking so quickly, right? Because I had given a response to a lady about I don't even remember what the problem was, but I had given it to her in such detail that it was probably about 2 years of work, depending on what she had decided to do. And I had even given her those decision points. And I did it after listening to her, I don't know, a couple of minutes maybe. But it was it was so, for me, it's just like, oh, like do this,
Do
right?
this. Yeah.
It's salsa, right? It's salsa dancing all over again. and and so that's what made me realize, like, oh, there's something to, and I'm doing all of the things that I loved about my corporate career. I'm doing all the things that I love about myself. I'm doing all the things that like enhance my life, the things that I love doing in general. So all of a sudden I've created a business out of it, and it's fun and amazing.
I'm just curious because my telephone number has that 678 area code, and people go, wait a minute, that's not New York number. No, it's a Georgia number. And I got it back in 96 when the Olympics were there and we were living in Atlanta, one of 17 states I've lived in, and I don't even know how many cities, but yeah. And I got to see boxing and gymnastics and some diving.
I love it.
It was cool. But they made you do a lottery. So that's a whole nother, yeah.
I actually just now have that phone number, but I still I'm from Washington State originally. So yeah.
I have so many people that I know that I've had this number, and I've had it for, since 96. I'm like, I'm not.
It's not going anywhere. Yeah. Yep. It's not going anywhere.
Just get over yourself. It's it. So, but one of my not so favorite memories about Atlanta is having, 5 lanes on either side of the highways and going nowhere fast, being stuck in, but during the time period I was there, it was bursting at the seams. I don't know how it is now, but I called it the melting pot of the South. It really is, to me, is like the New York of the South. There's so much going on. There's so much happening. And good and bad, but the place is growing by leaps and bounds, and it's just insanity. So yeah.
It's a lot. It's changed a lot even in the 4 years that I've been here.
Wow. All right. So Swan Town Creative Systems. After being on your website, I have to say that everything you were talking about in your journey and the little bit that we discussed so far absolutely makes sense, even more so now after going to your website and checking stuff out. It is so clean. There's so many points. It goes right into detail of, here's X, Y, and Z. So I'm curious, as a consultant, what would you tell people, who's your ideal client? And what would you tell people, this is what I do?
Yeah. So I always tell people that I am a systems gal. And I am. I like to focus on business operations, their systems, the processes, making things more streamlined. I don't use the word efficient, but that's really what it's about, right? Like being able to do a lot more with not a huge amount of time commitment. However, what I've discovered in my work, and even as a case study as myself, is that putting, lipstick on a pig doesn't make sense. So what I mean, I'm saying this for real. When you put lipstick on a pig, really, it's still a pig, right? Yep. And so what I found is actually that we need to go up a little further, and we need to look at your business model. We need to look, how do you actually do the work that you do? And then we can put in the systems and processes and operations and all of that stuff afterwards. Like if your business model is a mess, right? Like if your pricing is incorrect, if you're not working with the right type of clients, if your money's not coming in the way that it should be, if you're doing all these other things that actually don't make your life better, and you don't have a life, you haven't slept in weeks, you haven't seen your family, you haven't been able to pick your nose, like it doesn't really matter what you haven't, like choose your favorite thing that's not work, right? Which is again, this is part of the reason why I built this podcast is too, right? Like all of this all kind of comes together. The idea being that you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed, and you don't know how to get out of it. Let's talk about your business model so then we can put processes and systems in place to get you into a better space.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to Maroof. I know my wife Jody is listening. Thank you, David Hansen, for showing up. Oh, man, he's incredible. If you haven't met him, definitely want to meet him. But thank you for everybody for joining us. I have your website right below us there. And also just want to dive in a little bit more. We're going to just peel back the layer just a little bit more on, okay, you're a systems gal. And if I'm coming to you with, is this more small business, medium business? Does it matter?
It's usually small. That's usually who comes to work with me the most, but theoretically it doesn't matter.
If I am a small, medium-sized business and I'm having trouble with processes, and that is, getting stuff done. I'm really like literally, what's your steps to like analyzing, okay, how do you, because I know you, before this, we talked about, I want to get stuff done. Let's get this done. So what's your process of going through and analyzing what's working, what's not working, so you can help them get a system?
Yeah, I kind of talked about this in my first podcast episode too, but really what it's about, like, I'm not even trying to plug it, but you're asking all the right questions. I'm like, oh, well,
I haven't even gotten there yet. I have so much to say about your podcast. I'm saving that. But.
It's really about, what do I love to do? What do I like to do? And I'm cool with doing it until somebody else does it. What do I hate? And what do I not need anymore? And then actually I tend to ask all of my clients, and I did this for myself. So I'm going to use my I did this for myself. I spent time being like, so I hate bookkeeping. I
think unless you're a CPA, that's probably that's like everyone.
But like too many of business owners are like, oh, well, I need to save money. And if I do the bookkeeping myself, then it means that I'm saving money. When in fact, you're not. You're actually driving down your hourly wage, coupled with you're actually adding more time to the back end, because your accountant and the bookkeeper that they work with are going to fix your nonsense, right? So so really you've actually driven down your hourly wage even further. So I chose things that I did not like. I don't like bookkeeping. It is the bane of my existence. I'm so glad that I understand it, but I'm so glad to get it off my plate. But I love, love, love managing inventory, right? Like getting all the barcodes done, making sure that the receipts are attached. Like that's my favorite thing. Like, just don't judge me, but that's a favorite thing of mine. My very like logical brain is like, ooh. And then whereas like, oh, if I have to keep like, I don't know, doing the payroll, it's not a big deal. It's not that hard. There's not that many of us, whatever. That's cool. So I chose things that, I was like, okay, I love this. I'm going to keep doing this. I like this. I'll do this until whenever. And I hate this. So this is going right now. And then I worked backwards, right? So if I'm good at it and I love it, I'm going to keep it, right? I'm good at managing inventory. I love doing it. It makes me happy. It makes me smile, right? I spend lots of money on this inventory. So therefore it's going to make me smile. I'm going to keep doing it. However, like bookkeeping, that can go immediately. Who can I pay today to take that over versus, oh, I don't mind doing payroll. It doesn't take me that long, but I know eventually I'm going to need to take that off my plate. So what are those sort of, I don't know, bases that you can kind of move all of your activities as an owner, as a business, into those different spaces, and then hire, contract out, or take over completely, etc.
I am so guilty. And this year has been the year that I am using more volunteers, more of our partners than I have ever used in the entirety of the nonprofit to get stuff done, because I literally am so guilty of just, and I do it all. And I am not great at doing it all. And I'm learning that, some things you got to pay for, and some things are volunteer hours, and some things maybe that needs to wait until we have the resources or the time to do it the right way. But we're taking action. And I love that philosophy. When I went on, and earlier today, in between like 40 meetings today, it's like, it's been an awesome day, but I watched your most recent podcast. And
Thank you.
first, I have to say this before I get into everything else. One of the most incredible things is, if no one's ever told this to you, you have this incredible voice. So it's like sitting, it's like a voice built for radio. I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm going, I'm a singer, and I'm looking at my keyboard. My keyboard is like right here. I've got my guitars here, and I'm like,
you could make up a jingle.
Yeah,
put a little music underneath that.
I'm thinking, how do I convince her to like maybe even do some, I don't know if she sings, but she's got this great voice. It was so pleasant to listen to you. It was such a calming environment. It was so clear. And then that music that you had in the background made me feel like, man, I just don't do, I was starting to get to the place where I was patting myself thinking that I was doing a pretty good job on videos until I watched your podcast. And then I was like, well,
no, that let's make sure that we're super clear. So first of all, thank you. However, we are only as good as the team behind us. And this isn't everything. And my editor, Tony, he was like, Chanaye. Praise God for really good editors who want to make sure that you succeed, but also that, I will even just say a pat on my back for my own self, right? Of that I was willing to take a leap, because I really think that I've always had a face for radio, right? Like, I love to talk, but don't put me on screen anywhere. And so now I'm like, oh, I'm going to put myself out there and tell people about things that I know, or I know to be true. And it might not be true for everyone, but I know to be true. Okay. So, it's awesome when you get, people rallying around you. I started that process back in September or so of 23. And I've just had a lot of support. Like, yes, you should do this. Yes, go for it. And every Tuesday, I'm just really excited to roll out one more episode in front of people.
It's outstanding. It really is. I like that you blended taking some of the personal in your story and moving that through how it relates to business, and how with your consulting, how you're going to help people. And that was, so you combine all of these great elements. So we'll thank your editor, but you did a great job.
I did it too, I guess.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
And no, it was so wonderful. It was so pleasant. The message was so great. And it made me really think. I started thinking about my past and the things that I have been through and what the journey looked like. So I appreciated the fact that you talk about, hey, I was working 100 hours, and what was my quality of life, and what did that look like? And when I started to realize just what you said about how you work and how you help people, what things that I really don't like to do and I can get off my plate, or things I can give to other people to help me with, and asking for that help, being understanding that you need the help and you are aware of it, and you're aware of what you can and you can't do, and what you love to do and what you don't love to do, and making those distinctions and moving forward. So cheers to you for this fantastic episode and this wonderful process that you're going through and stretching yourself.
It's a discovery process. So I appreciate the support.
I mean, literally, I gotta go back to this right now. Here we go. I'm gonna hit the Beatles' birthday song by accident. Here we go. It's fantastic. It really is. It's a great job. It's a great job. I can't wait to have you on the show with some of our other partners and us do our podcast there. That's like, yeah, you're a pro. You're a pro.
I kind of am, because actually I'm working on something else, because with the idea of the Empire podcast, the goal is really to give actionable tips and tricks, like things that help you reclaim your life, reclaim your business, right? Especially as a frustrated, overwhelmed entrepreneur, business owner, whatever you choose to identify yourself as. But realities are is I'm doing the same exact thing, right? I'm identifying what do I love? What do I hate? What am I okay with, right? And so I'm actually creating like more of an audio experience that's very, very light. I record on my phone. I'm starting it here in February, and it's me talking through like, here's some stuff that I had to think about this week. And these were some of my successes and some of my wins. The idea being that there's lots of opportunity where we have to think through what might have happened. And I'm a small business owner for a reason. I want to try this game. I want to keep in this game, right? So, yeah. So I'm releasing something else that's an audio podcast in early February.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
That's incredible.
Just a chit chat. It's a chit chat. There's no beautiful, it's a chit chat. Like I recorded on my phone. Like you might hear my dogs, you might hear me walking. Like it's nothing, like it's very light, but it's a chit chat.
I mean, Gary V was made walking with the phone and doing this little, video thing. He made that like famous where everybody does it now. It's like,
I forgot.
Like, I can't even do that. Like, here's one of the first people that did that. Like, if I were doing that, I would just be breathing and gagging. People would be like, I don't even know what that guy just said.
Another really great place to do it is in your bed, by the way. Like, you haven't gotten up, you just rolled over and you have your phone. We're already guilty of it anyway. Roll over, grab your phone, and just start talking. It's a chit chat. Just don't turn on the camera.
It's a chit chat. That's gonna stick with me during this. Let's just have a chit chat.
We're gonna have a chit chat.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're winding down on time, and so as we get through here, I want to let people know right here is how you can get in touch with Chanaye. Also, you are on LinkedIn, but in your website down, and I think it's at the bottom, you have like all your different links.
Yeah,
you find you everywhere. What other social entities are you on? I know you're on LinkedIn.
Yep, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube are the primary places that I hang out. You can definitely find me on Facebook as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we have a Maroof handles our SEO for our YouTube. He's fantastic. He was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on there. If he is, hey, he and Jason Wilson's crew do a fantastic job with EDFX. So shout out to them. And they have made it to where, it's just incredible now. I think we're somewhere around 1.3 or 1,300, 1,400 subscribers now. And our videos average about 1,600 views. And that's really like, I could not have done any of that by myself. We started with 12 people and I was lucky to get 12 views. So those 12 people going and looking. Yeah. But no,
we all start somewhere.
A long way. You know what? And that's the thing that I really had to learn. So I love that you say that. I really had to learn that, to stop comparing yourself to other people. Your journey is different. And that kind of brings me to our last question is, why join this scarred up hockey dude that's sitting here across from you and HR4U? Like, what in the world? Why would I want to be part of this craziness with HR4U.org?
So I have a couple of reasons. So I would like to scroll out a little bit and say that I'm actually a partner that donates on a regular basis. And I
absolutely are.
And I am planning to increase my donation as soon as I am able. So really, there's two reasons. One, it's because I believe in you, right? Like I am excited about the work that you do, Chason, right? Like you are such a dynamic personality that has so much good in the world. And the best way that I can best share my like appreciation and love and all of those things is by doing exactly that. Then the second reason is for those reasons. Oh, there's dogs with
with toys. Dogs with toys.
And then the second reason why is because I wanted to be able, I wish that I could stay in corporate, right? And that I could use the $100,000 degree that I earned, that I love. But because of my Blackness, because of my femaleness, I felt like I had to leave. And I don't think that that's fair to anybody, right? I don't think that it's fair that your inherent whatever capabilities are hold you back. And so what would happen if I could support an organization that has lots of goals to make sure that any inherent or internal or external reasons don't hold you back, right? That you can succeed no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, and that you're a valued member of the community. And I think, so those are my two big ones.
Man, well, that was like a boatload. And thank goodness for the dog squeaky toy, because
Right.
I was literally about to start crying. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm going to end this with a big blubbering like me. And then the squeaky toy like snapped me out of it. I was like, okay, thank God.
Yeah. My dogs will provide lots of levity to every situation.
I love it. I love it. We are, Jody and I are, we want our dogs back so badly. We had two older dogs, and we lost Diego, was the second of the two that we lost, and we lost him last year. And we're just not, it's just not the same in this household. So anyway, I appreciate dogs, and I love what we've done here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Stand Up for Change. This incredible human being that we've been talking to today is just fantastic. You can find her on social media. You can find her at her website. Give it up one last time. And we are out. Thank you so much for joining us. Please come and see us at our YouTube channel. You can come visit us at HR4U.org, and we would love to see you on our next show. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thanks all.